Hello, and welcome to the Free to Focus podcast, part 2. I'm Dr. Kim Moore, your very proud superintendent, and I am so excited today to have this conversation with you. It's been about 3 months since we implemented the Free to Focus policy, and we've seen some incredible changes across our schools. Now, today, we're checking in to hear directly from the people that this policy affects the most, our students. If you remember, we had a group of students in part 1 who were a part of our discussion. So, when we started this journey, our goal was simple. It was to create environments that were free from distractions, where students can fully engage in their education as well as with each other. But we know change isn't always easy, and we want to hear from you about the policy and how it's impacted your daily experience, the challenges that you faced, as well as the benefits that you have noticed. Now, I am thrilled to be joined by our outstanding group of student leaders from across our district. Now, these are the students who shared their initial concerns with us in part 1, and they will share their honest thoughts and insights as we look at the effect of this policy over the last 3 months. So let's meet them now.
Hi, my name is Dulce Calix, and I attend Richland Northeast High School.
Hi, my name is Yaya McDaniel, and I attend Ridgeview High School.
Hi, my name is Layla Rush, and I attend Westwood High School.
Hi, my name is Tatiana James, and I attend Ridgeview High School.
Hi, my name is Kaylee Walgbot, and I attend Westwood High School.
Hi, my name is Kaylin Hartwell, and I attend Spring Valley High School.
Hi, my name is Jordan Benjamin, and I attend Spring Valley High School.
Hi, my name is Molly Sherman, and I attend Blythewood High School.
Hi, my name is Ethan Kropp, and I attend Blythewood High School.
Hi, I'm Skylar Hillier, and I attend Richland Northeast High School.
Thank you, seniors. Are you excited to be graduating this year? You can just smile and nod your head. Boy, those smiles are very big that you're graduating. I just want to say thank you for being here today. I recognize that this is an opportunity, but also it really is a pleasure for me for us to hear from you. So, without further ado, let's jump into the conversation and what life has been like under the Free to Focus policy. So, anyone can answer this question, but I want to start off with how has your school experience changed in the past 3 months? Don't be shy. You were not shy before the microphone and cameras were turned on.
So, at our school, like, there's more interaction between our students rather than just people at lunchtime just being on their phones the whole time. As our student government, we have also like done lunchtime activities. It's called like Do Not Disturb, and like we have done painting, board games, and what was the other thing? Dulce?
Slime making and some other craft activities. We had board games, we had music to just make our students interact with each other and just for them to have a fun time.
Did you say making slime?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I love a good science project. Who else would like to share?
I can say at my school, it's just been a lot more like engaging, like walking through the hallways and during class changes. Students are actually interacting with their peers and saying hi to their teachers when they see them.
Mm.
I think, like Richland Northeast, we've been able to do lunch activities, and we had them before the Free to Focus, but I think that now people not having their phones and things to distract them, I think we've had more participation throughout our lunch activities. I think people are more like prone to come to the atrium and like join us instead of just staying in the classroom on their phone.
Mm. Okay. Now, for the students that didn't answer their first question, what was the hardest adjustment at first? And how do you feel now?
I think just adapting to having free time and not using that free time to get on a device is one thing that we've had to adapt to, and to just be free from using your phones, iPads, headphones, and stuff like that in the hallways or during lunch, because the Free to Focus policy is not only focused on classrooms, it's focused on bell to bell. So I think just not using your devices throughout that free time, quote unquote, and yeah, just engaging with your environment rather than being on your phone.
I can say for us, I think the biggest challenge would have been like headphones. I know a lot of people listen to music throughout like passing periods, going to their next class and things like that. So I think that was probably our biggest adjustment.
For me personally, I was going to say that I used to bring my personal computer to school with me every day. So I would not only get my work done that I had to do at my school, but also my dual enrollment classes as well. So it's kind of forced me to adapt and change how I manage my time with different classes, applying for scholarships, and in the fall, applying for college as well.
I think I'm going to kind of second what everyone's saying. I think Ethan kind of stole what I was going to say about my personal computer. I really didn't use my school issue computer a lot in the past, but now I've had to kind of convert to using it a lot more. And then also definitely the headphones. I know I used to walk to class with my AirPods, and also just reminding myself when I'm walking in the halls to like not pull my phone out, because it's kind of like something that's a little bit more secondhand for me now. It's like, to know I usually pull my phone out when I'm walking to classes, and now I can't do it anymore. So kind of having to remind myself to put it away.
Do you find that you're having more conversations with your friends or other people?
I do. I find myself having a lot of conversations, especially with people that I may not have even noticed go to my school. But I also find myself with self-reflection time. So it's kind of that internal conflict of that desire to want to pick up your phone and stuff like that. So I kind of find myself also having self-reflection periods where it's kind of nice because it's kind of a thoughtful moment to get away. It's not another distraction that I throw out there. So I meet people that I've never seen before, and I also have self-reflection time.
Oh, I agree with what she said. Not only having those conversations, but initiating those conversations when you don't have electronic distractions.
Thank you. So students, I am so happy to invite back one of the people that you met during our last time that we were together, Dr. Kelly Snipes. And if you remember, Dr. Snipes gave you some recommendations and some suggestions on how to free yourself from your phone for an extended period of time. Remember, she walked you through some exercises. So she's back with us today to also give you some additional information that's going to help you help your friends to be successful. Kelly?
Thank you. It's good to see you again. It's good to see all of you again. And you guys shared some really great information about the impact this has had on you. I love to hear some of the positives that you guys brought to the table about interaction and having time to self-reflect. That was such a powerful thing. And I thought today we'd kind of reflect back on where we were a bit, but also talk a little bit more about how to really find joy in these digital free spaces that we're in now. And to kind of help us talk through that, I thought we'd use SPACES as an acronym. And so the first two letters, the S and the P, are things we talked about last time, which is silencing those notifications, placing your phone as far away from you as you can, to really limit how much it's going to distract you. It's hard to find joy when your attention feels like it's being pulled. So we talked about that a little bit last time. And we also talked about the next two letters, which are your A and your C, which is attuning into yourself, paying attention to those thoughts, those feelings, and kind of considering other ways. So the C is for consider, considering other ways that you can meet the needs of what you're feeling in that moment. So some of you mentioned, having that sort of impulse to pick up my phone. Have there been other moments where you have felt maybe a little discomfort because you're so used to picking up your phone? And what has that felt like, and how have you gotten through that? What strategies have worked for you?
Yes, I have felt a little discomfort because it's a habitual thing to pull out your phone, pull out your device. And, I like media, I like movies a lot, so I like to watch movies while I do work. But I found that the library has become my safe haven, and I like to read a lot. And like before the free to focus policy, I did like to read, but now putting that phone away really encourages me to read and also go to the library a lot because it increases my productivity so I get other work done along with reading books.
Great. So you found a substitute, an alternative for some of those moments of discomfort. How about you?
For me, it's a great conversation starter. So it always started with I'm trying to look and feel in my pocket, where's my phone? And I would have that scared shock moment. Oh my gosh, I left my phone somewhere, knowing it's put up and it's in my bag.
Yeah.
So I would kind of just look around and find a friend and start socializing. I'll be like, this event happened to me. So it was kind of just, it was extremely uncomfortable, but knowing that I was comforted with friends that we experienced the same thing, it created a good topic starter.
Yeah, I think, we talked about that a little bit last time too, is sort of leaning into those moments and giving them voice. That's a great example of that. Anybody else?
Yes. So for me, it would be those times where maybe I'm done with my homework and I don't have nothing to do, in class. And so those times I just really feel like, getting my phone out and just, scrolling through it. But I found, that I really like art. And so I just, get some colors out and paper, or I also bought myself a Wordle book and I just go through it, and I try to distract myself from trying to like reach for my phone or do something like that. So
It's wonderful. And so to recap, the S is for silencing notifications. P, placing your phone as far away as you can from yourself. And then A, attuning to what you're feeling, what you're experiencing, noticing it. And C, considering alternatives. So you guys have experienced this, and you're already leading into the last two with the E and the S, which E is for embracing those new opportunities, and S is for seeking support. So what have you found, or what opportunities have you found that you've really enjoyed that you might have missed out on before? I loved hearing about the board games and the slime and all those things that y'all are doing. What are some things like that that have been new opportunities that you've reflecting now or like, this was a really cool opportunity. I'm glad I got to do that more.
I don't want to speak again because I've already spoke, but I think a lot of us here are student council members and we're leaders in our school. And I feel that phones kind of prohibited us from having engagement and involvement in events. Excuse me. So a lot of the events that we're hosting now are due to students not having their phones, not having their devices. So they feel that they have nothing to do during lunch. So now us as student council members, we're hosting events, and that's really good for our school community to get together and have fun and interact with each other. So I think that's an opportunity that we have now cultivated as student council members, and that's something that we probably wouldn't have done.
Great.
Yeah, I've experienced a lot of food tasting. So I'm a foodie, but a lot of times we'll have events for appreciations, or even like the other day we had upperclassmen. If you have A's or A's and B's, you'll get Starburst, and underclassmen, they'll get cupcakes. So we found ourselves being around food a lot, which I don't want to say is a alternative, but a lot of students love food, and it was a great way to experience different cultures and different moments, and it was very connecting.
That sounds wonderful. And this is all about seeking support because you guys are finding new and creative ways to connect with each other without your phones. Have you felt that is different in any way? Is it more engaging? Do you feel differently about those interactions?
I think for me, it's not necessarily about myself and interactions. I feel like I'm already a very outspoken person was less looking to communicate with others. I think it's definitely been enhanced because of the policy. But for me, it's more so finding the joy of seeing others communicate with others and really just developing the culture and community at our schools.
It's wonderful.
So, Kelly, I'm wondering, these are all seniors who are going to be graduating this year and going out into the world to be brilliant young adults that they are. So I'm wondering how they will continue to put in practice spaces once they leave us. And do they see benefit in that?
It's a great question.
Students?
I'm so sorry. I know I've been speaking a lot, but as a person who's in dual enrollment, that actually plays a huge part, a huge factor, because a lot of professors are, hey, this is your money, this is your time. If you don't want to take that into consideration, there's no babying you anymore. So a lot of the times I found myself declining if I was on my phone or something like that instead of taking notes, or even if I tried to use the process of seeing it, hearing it, and typing at the same time. That was actually a distraction for me. So I kind of had to put that up and sit there and just listen. So for me, I think it was a self-learning lesson of not necessarily taking what we have now, even though that was a big step towards it. It was very helpful. It gave me advantage to other students in schools that don't have that. But I do want to say, kind of with myself, learning that, hey, I didn't do so good when I was doing this. I kind of learned to put it up naturally, and it was something, a self-taught lesson. So I feel like it's just one of those things that we can help and we can apply it, but at the same time, we're young adults, so we're going to have to learn.
Anyone else? Because I know most of you are in dual enrollment classes.
I think that I'm personally in dual enrollment and mine is only online. So I think that the adjustment from like only being able to use my Chromebook instead of other resources, especially when I'm at school, it's been very like teachable moment, especially since possibly a lot of us are going to college next year. And that's just going to be a huge adjustment no matter what, but especially not having as strict rules as a public high school does. And like you're paying for the classes, like Tati said. So just knowing that we need to spend our time wisely and not be on our phone as much, especially in those college classes, that's like a lesson we've been able to learn.
Thank you. So, Dr. Kelly, as we wrap up your segment, would you just quickly go through the spaces one more time, what the letters stand for?
S is for silencing notifications. P, place your phone as far away from you as possible. A, attune to your needs, your feelings. And C, consider alternatives. E is for embracing new opportunities, and S is for seeking support from others.
Thank you. Now, students, you've shared some of the positive things that have come out of Free to Focus. Now I'd like to hear what you're hearing from your colleagues, as well as if there's still some concerns that you may have around this policy. Because I know a couple of you have come to board meetings to talk about what you have expressed as concerns with the policy, but I also know that several of you will be going to a legislative meeting to meet with legislators about this proviso and the implications it's had in school. So let's start with, what are you hearing from your colleagues about Free to Focus?
So my thing is really like pep rallies. Not having being able to have your phone out at pep rallies to like record your friends, you know, playing games. Cause like that, I feel like that's a big like thing to like keep your memory of when you're out of high school, to look back on that, but like that was some fun times, you know? So it's like very difficult during pep rallies and lunch to like just take pictures to remember.
Okay.
I can also kind of agree with that. I think one big thing that a lot of our students are missing is like being able to keep memories of what they do in high school, because now when we have some people have digital cameras, but that's also not a way that people usually, you know, keep up media nowadays. So they're missing that aspect. But I would say that I don't think the majority of our students necessarily agree with all parts of the policy, or in general, a lot of them don't really agree with not being able to use them in things like study halls, even though the purpose may be to study in the class. I know for me, for example, I only have about 2 or 3 classes a day. So if I finish my work, a lot of times the question for them is, well, what do I do in the class now? And also, I think one thing for them also is not being able to use personal computers, not being able to use headphones, and not being able to be able to have their phones or devices during lunch, because they believe that's not instructional time. So why is it fall into the same time? Or during passing periods, because that's also not instructional time. And one more thing, it's also, I think, made it a lot harder for people in classes who are needing to upload materials online, because we can't take pictures of that anymore. Like, we have computers, but those Chromebook cameras aren't good. Like, they can't take pictures of quality, really. And also, like, people who are doing clubs, you can't do QR forms anymore. You can't really do like long links, really. So it kind of just made life harder for that in general.
So if you were speaking to a legislator who is looking at this proviso and considering whether it should be continued next year or if adjustments need to be made, what would you say to that legislator?
For me, I personally would come from a standpoint as the whole goal of high school and education in general is prepare students for the next phase of their lives and encourage them to be challenged in balancing all aspects of their lives. And the matter of the fact is now that that includes social media, that includes technology, and that there definitely does need to be a policy like free to focus in place. But I don't think that I think that it should give students a little bit more flexibility into where they should are able to use their phones, such as during lunch or also in classing passing periods as well, not during instructional time, just to encourage students to be able to balance their work and life, as that's something that they're going to have to do past high school as well.
As we discussed previously, the Free to Focus initiative is South Carolina Department of Education by means of fostering a positive learning environment, enhancing focus and engagement, and ultimately like promoting peer collaboration. And they believe that this commodity will come to fruition through the elimination of electronic devices. Although I disagree with that notion, the prohibition hasn't been terrible, but that is given I'm a second semester senior who's only in the school building for, let's say, no more than an hour or two. So my perspective or opinion would obviously be different than, say, a freshman who has a full schedule. Though in terms of the success of the actual proviso, it would be on a truthful notion to say I haven't seen a personal device, a tablet, a phone, or an iPad since January. Because with many bills, especially directives in education, we see that the authorization or authorization period is never long lasting because the motive, I believe so, or the focus for many educators is to educate among the many other things and to ask them to adopt and implement policies that they may also not totally agree with will ultimately be fruitless. And it results in provisos mirroring this one a little bit that will have no visual evidence of existence in the actual classroom. Though in regards to this specific proviso, I believe any progress or growth, as Ethan mentioned, is a success because arguably, despite what the rhetoric of the bill suggests, the usage of electronic devices are still very much aid rather than hindrance for many students.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, so here's my last question to you that I want you to think about and maybe give us some answers to. You've talked about the benefits of Free to Focus, how it's helped you to have more conversations, reflective, you're talking to each other, but at the same time, there's restrictions as you just discussed. So I want you to think about how could we blend it to get the best of both? All right, students, final thoughts
I
about the
think that
policy.
the policy needs to address the needs of the different groups of students as we have elementary school, middle school, and high school students. For elementary school students, I believe that it's not necessarily a prerogative that they have their phone at school. You even could make that argument about middle school, maybe allowing them during lunch, but I believe as high school students, there definitely needs to be a little bit more freedom and flexibility to cater to our needs.
And adding on to what Ethan said, I think that in middle school, one of the big things that you were looking forward to in eighth grade going into high school was being able to have the space to use your phone during lunch and passing periods and just getting basically to experience what it's like in the real world because high school is kind of your preparation for stepping out into real world, going to the workforce, maybe the military, and going into college. People aren't going to tell you when you can use your phone. You just need to learn time and place. And I think in high school, it's really important for us to learn time and place. Like in class, of course, we shouldn't be using our phones. We should be paying attention. But in that free time, once we finish our work and get our things done, we should be able to use our phones. And in passing periods, yes, you can talk to your friends walking through the hallway, but sometimes you may need to check a notification or check an email, maybe an update about what's going on after school. And then during lunch, it's just common for people to want to check their phone and be on their phone because that is their free time.
I would agree with Kaylin and Ethan. I think that by allowing high school students to kind of have that flexibility, it makes them learn their own time management. Because once they go out into the real world, there's no one going to be over their shoulder saying, you need to put your phone away and things like that. So it kind of allows them to develop those skills for themselves. So I would say during lunch and passing periods and times like that, that they should be allowed to have their phones. I don't think maybe it's as necessary for middle schoolers, but I think if we want to prepare our students for the real world, and also kind of like how Ethan hit on earlier, being able to use things like technology, we know that AI is the future, and being prepared to use these tools, then that the time management and being able to use that during these periods is kind of necessary.
Anyone else? Well, I just have to say, first and foremost, thank you guys. You are brilliant. But I want to leave you with a last thought. If you want to affect change, change that occurs through a legislative process, what do you need to do? Think about it. Because I think some of you are coming up on the ripe old age of 18, where you will get a privilege. So change starts with you. Thank you. So as we wrap up our discussion today, I want to thank our brilliant students for being honest in their insights. 3 months of Free to Focus, this policy has caused us to reflect on choices that we make every single day throughout the day. And through this process, we have learned a lot. We've seen more engagement in classrooms, stronger face-to-face connections, and a shift toward being more present in the moment. But as our students have shared, we've also known that adjusting to this change takes time, and we are listening to you, students, because your feedback is invaluable as we continue to refine this policy to best support both learning and well-being. So our goal, parents, is to keep the conversation going together. We can make this the best possible experience for everyone. That includes your students, our teachers, staff, as well as me. Because when you're not happy, parents, I hear about it. And when you're not happy, students, I hear about it. And we want to make this experience one that's beneficial to everyone. So this conversation doesn't end here. We want to hear from you. I'm going to ask that you share your thoughts, your ideas, as well as your suggestions with our school leaders, our teachers, and through student forums. We know lawmakers will be watching and listening to hear directly from you. So let's keep working together to make this policy the best that it can be for everyone. To my student panel, once again, thank you. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you for your passion and your commitment. Thank you for being great leaders on your campus. While I know this is not something that you wholeheartedly agree with, you embraced it and you turned those lemons into lemonade. So thank you for what you do. And we wish you much success on your journey as you prepare to graduate as outstanding leaders from Richland School District 2.